Dowling, O Capital Partners. You're at the multifamily meetup. Hopefully you're in the right room. Excited to have you. We're going to talk a lot about raising money tonight. It's been a topic that we've discussed before in the past. And generally for this, the way the meetup works, it's all multifamily. We're not going to be talking about notes or Airbnb or other models here. It's going to be everything that's situated with multifamily. Each month we generally focus on a topic. If I remember right, last month was underwriting. We'll talk about markets, we'll talk about building out your team players. Tonight, we're gonna have people up here that have successfully built businesses and help really grow portfolios by finding out the most proficient and we'll say ethical and proper ways to grow your investor list, build out your list of being able to bring capital and grow the deals by being able to buy larger deals because you're able to raise more money. So that'll be it. We'll start here today because we were having a lot of topics, and I actually heard this on Brian Buffini's podcast, and it was super good. Jocko Willink, who's of course ex-Navy SEAL, he just crushed it out there. He talks a lot about as we get older, we just constantly find ways, and this is going to get to multifamily, but to just not do what we say we're going to do, right? So we're here tonight. We have a lot of people who come here. We want you to take action. We want you to this a free meetup. We want to give you the guidance here, but if you get what you have tonight and then you come next month and you come the following month and ultimately you come the following month and you're not using that, then ultimately you're just wasting your own time because you're not putting it to work. So make sure you're getting out there, you're taking action, and stop negotiating with yourself. If you say you're going to get up and you need to get up an hour earlier, just get up. I mean, if the alarm rings, okay, no negotiations, just get up. If you need to, your thing is you got to find a market and you got to get it done. No negotiations, just get it done. And that's really what the steps are here for this process, is that we just followed steps that other people were doing. And this is not, real estate didn't just start last month or 2 months ago or a year ago. There's been tried or true things that people have been doing forever. Buying buildings that can provide legacy wealth, provide cash flow for you, for your investors, for others, for your family. And doing the processes that other people are doing, stuff that we did, stuff that we're still doing, it's just the steps you're going to take. So why wait? Nothing's going to happen. Nothing's going to get better for you waiting to the next week. It's just going to be another excuse. So no more negotiations. Let's get after it tonight. We're going to have some great panel guests up here. They're going to talk a lot about how they are building out their business, the steps they're doing, the pitfalls they had, the successes they had. But think about where you are in your business. If this is your first night, cool. You'll learn some points, but think about this. If your point here was, it was your first event out, well, find someone who's doing what you want to do and just ask them a couple questions. If you are now at a point where you're educated enough to take action, then get out there. What's that action steps? You need to start, building your team out. You need to start finding people who are, help with your weaknesses. If you're strong at creating relationships, but you're weak at underwriting, what does that take? If you have too much deal flow on top of you and you can't underwrite enough deals, well, what does that take? If you need to raise money, and tonight's going to be a great night for you because you're going to start being able to have conversations. There was two guys who are working with us and we're helping them out. They didn't think they could raise money, but they weren't talking to anybody. So not having a conversation, ultimately, you're just not going to do it. They started actually talking, found out a relative of theirs who lives out of the country, loves what they're doing, has done it back before, got super busy with what they've done in their life, and has a $1.5 million that they'd like to work with them for in the future. Never thought to ask. They just never had the conversation, but they started doing what they like to do, what they love to do, and talking to people, just putting the word out there, not asking for anything back. That's what happened. And it just, that's funny circumstance, but it's not, because they were putting the energy out there. They're having the conversations. So for your point here, the goal is to now grow yourself, grow your portfolio, find where your pitfalls are, and take some action steps tonight. And if you're going to tell yourself you're going to do something, it's time to start doing it, not give yourself a reason you're not going to do it. So that's thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
Cool, we're there. All right, so how to raise money successfully and correctly. We do have a super great panel tonight. I'm going to let them basically introduce themselves, but we can have Alina, Dan, Vennett, and David, if you guys can come on up. Do I have everybody in the room? We didn't even get to meet, by the way. So, did I say it right? Yeah, cool. All right, cool. So we brought in a special moderator, Kevin Dowling. So he will be here tonight asking questions. I'm going to give this mic here. Do you want to take the mic or no mic?
Yeah.
Okay, so I am not proficient enough because Michael's not here tonight to set up multiple mics, so we're going to be passing one mic around, but that's worse it is.
Introductions?
Introductions, please. You can stand up, do what you want.
How's it going? My name's Dan Schoenbachler. Pretty regular here. Been here since the beginning. Realtor most of the day, and then found syndicator and capital raiser the rest of the day. So got involved in syndicating actively a year ago. Started 2 years ago, but couldn't find any deals for a year. So happy to answer any questions anyone might have. Come up to me afterwards, whenever. If you want to give me money, I love that. And look forward to seeing you all.
Hi, I'm Vennett Mcduck. I am a realtor as well. I started off.
Guys, keep the mic close to your chin. That's usually the trick.
Started off as a buy and hold investor, investing in luxury condos. Moved on to small multifamily, and now I'm doing larger multifamily deals. Thank you.
Good evening. Hi, everybody. My name is David Hansell. I'm co-founder and owner of Alpha Funding Solutions. We are what's referred to as a hard money lender. I also own and managing partner of Lucerne Capital Partners, a private equity company. Most of it's been in affordable housing or market rate housing workforce. And we've gone into luxury product, but we've done some unique stuff. We've actually invested in the dental business as well. Over the course of time, we've raised over $500 million and deployed into debt and into equity. And I'll share some more info about that and some of the projects that we've done on the multifamily side.
Hi everyone, my name is Alina Trigup. I'm the founding member of SEMO Financial. We help investors build their wealth by passively investing in various commercial real estate assets, which also allows them to save on taxes and make a positive impact on the communities. I also host 2 real estate meetups. They're called Power of Passive Investing. One of them is in New Jersey in Bergen County. The other one is in the city. If anyone's interested, feel free to come by. I'll give you the title of the meetup afterwards. I will not take anyone's money, but I will help you multiply.
Thank you, guys. I think a good place to start would be to maybe describe how you guys started out in terms of how you guys started to think about building out your investor lists. And then also, I think for the folks in here that haven't sat through a script and actually sat with potential investors, talk about how you kind of pre-deal or pre-even like your first deal started to think about what your pitch was to investors. So 2-part question, I guess.
Sure. So I guess I'll start since I have the mic. So for me, it was starting out personally in addition to starting out the business. I started out personally because I always had a pain point of paying too much taxes. So what I did mention earlier is I'm a former tax accountant, so taxes are always on the top of my mind. And I've been always searching for a way to minimize taxes. And real estate has been on my mind, but I haven't taken action for a long time. So finally, I took action about 6.5 years ago and started researching. And I came across the world of syndications. And after doing additional research, I decided to take action and started investing myself as an equity investor, which essentially means passive investor. And after realizing the benefits of investing in a number of deals, I thought that this was a great place for other people to invest. And since it was not publicly advertised, I thought that I should help others do what I was doing. And the idea of my own company, SEMO Financial, was born out of this. So I started SEMO Financial with the sole purpose of helping other people who have other priorities in life, but interested in investing in real estate, to passively invest in real estate and do it in a non-invasive way that will help them do that without any interruption to their day-to-day life. So I think that's part number 1. What was part number 2?
So kind of how did you establish credibility? How did you think about kind of a script? How did you start the process pre-deal before your first deal to kind of start thinking about investors?
So, as someone who had extensive corporate career, I tried to leverage the skills that I already had, the skills, the experience, and the connections. I work in the technology world, and I'm surrounded by a lot of accredited investors. And by the way, does everyone not know what the term accredited investor means? I can define it.
Define it.
Okay. Accredited investor is someone who, if single, is making $200,000 for the last 2 years and plans to continue making at least $200,000 or more down the road. Or if married, is making $300,000 for the last 2 years or believes they'll continue making that. The alternative is to be accredited by your net worth, which should be at least $1 million excluding your home. So if you have other investments, whether it's real estate or airplanes or boats or wineries, as I learned some people invest in wineries, which is fascinating, that should count as your assets, but your home will not. So I felt by having the right surrounding, I should start with friends and family essentially and people that are around me and start sharing what I've been doing, how I was investing, and how it was benefiting me. So essentially, without sounding like a salesperson, I was sharing my story. And as a lot of you probably know or heard, sharing your story, that's how you build your brand, through storytelling. So without selling anything, by sharing your own story, what you're doing, how you're investing, how it's benefiting you, you essentially giving people food for thought as to what they can potentially do and how something like this can potentially benefit them. And the trickle-down effect starts working over time. Obviously, organic process takes a lot of time, consistency and dedication and all of it, but it does pay off at the end of the day if you put enough effort into it.
Perfect, thank you.
I'm going to stand if that's okay. I talk better when I stand. So I have a crazy story about how I got into capital raising, and no one's going to believe this when I tell them that. I got laid off in the dot-com boom and got my real estate license in 2001, started selling real estate. Remember going to a conference and this guy said, if you don't start investing in real estate and you have your license, you should get out of the business. And that really resonated with me. I was young at the time. I had saved up some money from the job that I had, and I started flipping some houses very slowly during that uptick before the market crash. And I somehow, in a random way, got involved in the handbag business through a family friend. And so we were doing gift with purchase and handbags for women's handbags. So we wound up doing a deal with Spiegel, and they wanted to order 16,000 handbags, and we were able to fulfill the order. We had a group over in China. While I'm doing this real estate, I'm saying, how the hell did I get into this? Well, we did really well. Next season, they put an order with us. They didn't pick our bag, but they loved working with us, and I think this is the part that resonates. So you have to connect with people and be honest, sincere, make sure that you're taking care of their needs. Well, they said, can you change this bag up and we'll do the order with you? And I said, sure, of course. So it's just me and one partner. And they placed an order for 215,000 handbags. And I almost, in my pants, I was like, holy crap. And I was taken aback, and I'm young, and I'm like, oh my God, now I need $500,000 to go place this order in China. And I'm like, this is crazy. And so I have this purchase order, and I had about $100,000 of my own money I could put in. And I think the point about raising capital, I'll touch on how I got involved in the real estate side, was that I believed in what we were doing, and I just needed to solve for an issue. And I went to people with a solution that would help me and give them a good return. And I felt confident, and here's the difference. Sometimes you feel confident and aren't educated about what you're doing. That can be dangerous. Sometimes it works out well. That's how a lot of people get started. It's a dangerous place, right, for an investor, because you're coming in as a new guy and you're saying you're going to crush it on this deal and give them all the underwriting and everything else, and you don't really know what you don't know. So anyway, I got this purchase order. I promised everybody 10% in 4 months. We delivered, we made a lot of money, it went really well, and I was like, wow, this is pretty crazy. Fast forward, my partner, Mark Colazzo in Alpha Funding, he made a loan to somebody, he asked if I wanted to go in on the second loan he was doing. We started lending our own money eventually, and you run out of money real fast. So we brought some family and friends in, and we're doing that from 07 to 10. And then in like 09, 10, we went out and we said, look, we need to raise capital, and we wanted to come up with a structure to do it. And we were very fortunate at the time that the market was providing really, really strong returns in the lending space that we were in. So we were able to give our investors a very strong return, and it kind of organically grew. But the one thing that was super important was that you delivered on what you said, and that you spent the time listening to them and their concerns, and you were honest and transparent about the risk. So this company continued to grow, and we've deployed over $500 million in the funding company alone.